if you cannot protect,
Right.
do not collect. If the maritime sector processes enormous amount of data, then that sector already is risky.
All right, Mr. Quintin, good morning, and thank you for coming on the Cabin Tea podcast. We are here at the Maritime Trade Fair, and on the sidelines, I wanted to speak to you about data protection. Let's start with the Data Protection Commission, where you work at. What is the mandate of the commission when it comes to data protection?
All right. Thank you very much. So, the Data Protection Act, 2012 Act 843, actually established the Data Protection Commission with the sole mandate of protecting the privacy of the individual and their personal information by regulating how data controllers who collect information on people handle this information in a manner that does not cause harm to the individual. So we have one sole mandate to protect the privacy of the individual and their personal information by regulating the processing of this information. We also have the mandate of creating awareness within the space. So people need to be aware of their rights. So there are two things that the Act does. It gives rights to individuals, privileges to individuals as far as their personal information is concerned. And it also puts obligations on data controllers as to how they have to process personal information of individuals.
Okay, so we are looking at data protection for individuals, and then we are also looking at awareness creation. Right?
Awareness creations for individuals,
individuals.
at least for them to know their rights
Okay,
and assert themselves under the rights that the Act gives them. And also educate data controllers on their obligations.
so it's about rights on what you can use your data for, your information for, and what someone can also use your data or information for.
So let me break it down. What the rights does for an individual is it protects their privacy.
All right.
So privacy and then personal data are not the same things. We use them interchangeably, but your personal information is what can be used to identify you.
Okay.
But your privacy is that control, that ability to control your personal information, to determine what your information can be used for or what it cannot be used for. That right, the Act gives you.
So you have institutions that have institutions, right, naturally interact with human beings, and that includes the use of their data. So to an extent, the commission comes in to look at how these institutions can use the data of these individuals and also protect these individuals when it comes to who is using the information and for what purpose.
Exactly.
Okay, so that is now well situated. The other thing I want us to look at is, so when it comes to data protection, who are some of these agencies that you work with to achieve your mandates?
Okay, so the mandate of protecting the privacy of is a sole mandate of the Data Protection Commission.
Okay.
But in the line of our duty or mandate, there are other institutions like the Cybersecurity Authority
Right.
that we work closely with, like the police service that we work closely with, the Attorney General's office, all for enforcement and prosecution purposes.
Right. So there are issues of criminality when it comes to data usage and protection as well.
Yes. So if you process personal information of individuals in a manner that is not consistent with the data protection, that in itself is an offense. But in your processing, you are likely to breach the rights of individuals. And that is where the individuals can take you, the institution, on. And the rights, one of the rights that the Act gives the individual is the right to compensation. So if you are an institution, you are processing personal data in a manner that is not consistent with the Act, Whereas the data protection office can take you on, an individual can equally take you on for breaching their privacy rights.
Right. So now this is interesting. I want us to bring this into the maritime space, right? So you have an industry that produces very large sums of data, talking about shipping data, movement of cargo, and these are properties of individuals, of institutions, of organizations. How does the commission look at this space when it comes to protection of data for the maritime space?
Okay. So just like any data controller, so we describe institutions that collect personal data or individuals and use this data for their commercial purposes, data controllers. They determine how the information they collect is used, or perhaps even give it to third parties.
So we have like the Ghana Maritime Authority, we have the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, we have the Ghana Shippers Authority. These are agencies within the space that manage a lot of data.
Yes. So let's put it this way. So apart from these institutions that you have mentioned,
Yes.
any other institution, department, agency that collect personal information and determine how this information is used is a data controller. It doesn't matter whether, sorry, you are a public institution or a private institution.
Okay.
So long as you collect and use the information in your operations, you're a data controller.
So then GMA is a data controller.
GMA is a data
Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority is a data controller. Ghana Shippers data controller. What about this is an interesting one. What about the research institutions? If a research institute goes out to conduct field research, collect data of people, of institutions, of interactions, how do you would you consider the research institute also a data controller?
So there are two things you are talking about here.
Right.
By virtue of the establishment of that institution, with the intention of collecting personal information, they are a data controller.
Okay.
Regardless of the fact that they are into research.
Okay.
However, the Act actually gives exemption in terms of complying with
All right.
the provisions of the Act for research purposes. So there are two different things here. I want you to get it clear.
Right.
So you are a data controller first, and you have determined that you go into research.
Right.
You need to comply with the Data Protection Act as a data controller, because in your processes, you'll be processing personal data of individuals.
Okay.
However, you don't need to comply because you are doing research. You are complying because you are a data controller. You process personal data of individuals.
Right.
But there's an exemption on the research that you are doing. So that research, you are not to ask the permission
Okay.
of an individual before engaging in the research,
Okay.
because research activity is exempted. But as an institution, whatever you do with the outcomes of this research must be in line
Okay.
and must comply with the provisions of the Data Protection Act.
All right. So let's take these lessons and then bring them to the maritime space again.
Okay.
I'm very particular about the industry because that's the reason why we are here. So looking at the large volume of data that is produced in the industry, like the shipping sector, for instance, what are the potential risks? Are there any that you could think of when it comes to how we use data, and if these institutions are able to organize themselves properly, could avoid?
So let me start off by saying,
Yeah.
there is this thing that we say: if you cannot protect,
Right.
do not collect.
Okay.
If you're an institution that collects so much data in your line of duty, that institution must know you are into a risky business
Okay.
by virtue of the information collected on people. So if the maritime sector processes enormous amount of data, then that sector already is risky because of the personal information. You know today what people can do with people's information in terms of on social media. You see people saying things that are not true. They are trying to use images of others to paint certain pictures, fake news all around. All this goes to identify an individual. And if what you are saying about that individual is wrong, then you are infringing on their privacy rights. So there is risk in any form of processing activity. Either it's mild or it's, let's say, low,
Right.
medium, or very high.
Okay.
But so long as your processing activities involve huge amounts of personal information, there is risk around what you do. So you are prone to attacks because the people out there attack cyberspace. They attack devices.
We've seen these cases in the maritime industry when it comes to
Exactly.
cyber attacks.
Very good. The question I want to ask is, what is their target? Is it for fun that this bad actor want to attack a device or an infrastructure, a digital infrastructure, or a platform? No, there is something they are targeting. It's the data.
Okay.
And this data goes to identify individuals.
Okay.
Whether it's aggregated or general data, data is brought together on people.
So it's about the motive of whoever is trying to target what data they want.
Exactly. So the point I even want to make is that
Right.
beyond the attack, data is lost.
Okay.
So that is one of the risks within the maritime space. If you process huge sums of data, you must know you are prone to this risk. You can lose the data,
Yes.
or you can have people within your space monetizing the data because they have access.
How do they monetize this data?
Good. So when we say, or when we talk about monetization of data, it's the use of the data you hold within your space
Right.
for purposes other than the original purpose for which you collected it.
So if let's say if a hacker or if someone with ill intent is able to hack into a system, right? Let's say an organizational system that handles data in the maritime space, and then they let's say hack into the system, right, where they are able to have access to data, and they ask that in order for us to
Release the data.
release the data, you need to pay ransom.
Yes. So that's
So
a
that-
ransomware.
So that's ransomware.
Yeah.
Would you consider that as monetization of data?
Indeed. So you want to look at it from the data controller's perspective and also the hacker's perspective.
Okay.
So the intent of holding or storing that data is not to monetize it. However, the hacker who is accessing that data has intentions of what? Monetizing it. So the onus here is on the data controller whose activity has exposed personal information on individuals to ensure that the right governance frameworks are put in place so these bad actors do not have access to this information.
So are you saying there are legal implications for institutions who manage data but are not able to put in measures to protect this data?
Certainly, a number of it. So in terms of legal implications, one, the Data Protection Act, Act 843 of Ghana, if you are not even a registered data controller, you cannot process personal information on people. The law says it clearly in section 53 that a data controller that is not registered with the Data Protection Commission shall not process personal information. And 56 makes it an offense,
Okay.
punishable by law. That is just that is even basic. But now let's go into governance proper. If your processing activities lead to causing harm to an individual, so yes, you made mention of a hacker accessing data belonging to a data controller. And the next moment, that individual whose information was with the data controller is being attacked directly by this hacker or has been defrauded. And it can reliably be traced to the fact that you, the data controller, did not implement proper or appropriate governance mechanisms, and harm has been caused to that individual. Big problem for you.
I want to quickly ask you this. Is the Data Protection Commission engaging the maritime industry on these very important issues?
I must say, now about 3 weeks ago, we started some conversations.
Okay.
So the Maritime Authority engaged the commission, and then we laid out some best practice around the work they do, reason why they must take compliance very seriously.
Okay.
So we are in the process, and the engagement is ongoing. Even last week, he called for some further clarity, and I believe they are taking all the necessary steps to ensure that they streamline their operations in line with the expectations of the law.
So there is the industry intent. They are the
Exactly.
they are the regulatory body. So I believe that once they take the step, all the other agencies would also follow.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much for this very educative conversation. I think it needs more visibility. We need more awareness activities on these things. These are very crucial area, especially in the time where social media is all over the place and we are sharing information even on official engagements. We are still WhatsApping and all of that, exchanging emails here and there. I think these are very important issues. So thank you very much, and we wish you the best at the Data Protection Commission. Hopefully, we'll get to speak again about these issues.
Sure. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Quintin.